Pronounced, defined, used in lexical dispatch. Passive, adjective and noun, passively, passiveness, influenced by an external force, yielding without any opposition or resistance, submissive, yielding, patient, taking no active part, inactive, resistant to corrosion, referring to the passive voice of a verb where the subject receives the action in contrast to the active voice, in or of the passive voice, a verb in the passive voice. Pathos, noun, the inherent quality in a person, situation, film, or play that evokes feelings of pity and sadness, the feeling aroused. The patient remained in a passive state during the examination. The hikers were mesmerized by the passive beauty of the landscape. His passive demeanor made it difficult to gauge his true feelings. Being passive-aggressive is not a healthy way to communicate. Passive components like resistors and capacitors are essential in electronics. Passive cooling systems help regulate the temperature without using energy. The passive income generated from rental properties supplements her salary. Creating a passive revenue stream requires strategic planning. The citizens felt passive in the face of government corruption. The passive response of the international community was criticized. The goalie's passive stance made it easy for the opposing team to score. The chess player adopted a passive strategy, waiting for the opponent's move. The metal surface was protected by a passive layer, preventing corrosion. Passive seismic monitoring helps study the Earth's interior. Passive solar design utilizes the sun's energy for heating without active systems. Passive damping systems reduce vibrations in mechanical structures. He took a passive approach to the meaning of life, observing rather than dictating. The philosopher argued for an active engagement with reality over a passive acceptance. The instructions were passively received by the students. The passiveness of the response indicated a lack of emotional investment. The movie's powerful depiction of the protagonist's struggles evoked a deep sense of pathos among the audience. In her moving eulogy, the speaker skillfully appealed to the audience's pathos, bringing tears to many eyes. The charity's heartbreaking commercials effectively utilize pathos to generate empathy and support for their cause. The poet masterfully employed pathos in his verses, capturing the raw emotions of love and loss. The politician's speech relied heavily on pathos, recounting personal stories to connect with voters on an emotional level. While the scientific report presented a logical argument, it lacked the emotional appeal of pathos to engage a broader audience. The courtroom drama unfolded with the lawyer skillfully using pathos to sway the jury's emotions in favor of the defendant. The marketing campaign aimed at tugging at consumers' heartstrings, employing pathos to create a strong emotional connection to the product. Despite the professor's attempts to inject pathos into the lecture, the subject matter remained too technical for most students to feel a genuine emotional connection. The historical documentary balanced ethos, logos, and pathos to present a comprehensive and emotionally impactful narrative